Hello, I'm Haili Hughes. I'm an English teacher and former middle and senior leader. And over the past 15 years, I've worked in many ways as a mentor in many different capacities, having mentored NQTs and RQTs, early career teachers, and also mentored heads of department that I've worked with and other colleagues as well. And I've written a book for Crown House called Mentoring in Schools, which is currently out at the moment. And I think mentoring is so important. You know, we've all seen the figures that 1 in 3 people choose to leave the classroom before they've even served 5 years. And mentoring for me is a big part of teacher retention and keeping excellent teachers in the classroom where they belong. So I come from quite an academic background. I've completed 3 master's degrees and I'm in the middle of an Ed.D. at the moment at Glasgow. And, you know, the book does contain quite a lot of research, but I have tried to break it down into really practical steps for busy practitioners as well. I think one of the biggest problems with mentoring is that prior to the rollout of the early career framework, which I also reference quite a lot, the book kind of is a companion really to that that's rolled out this year in September. I think prior to the early career framework, mentoring just wasn't given the status that it deserves in schools. I think very often mentors are experience and advice rich, but very time poor. And alongside our other commitments as teachers, as maybe middle or senior leaders, mentoring sometimes takes a back seat. And that's nobody's fault. It's just the way it is. You know, in this profession, we all know how busy we can be. So my book essentially aims to be a guide to the early career framework for new mentors, but also for experienced mentors who want to, get hold of this book and find out what the early career framework is all about and how that will feed into the way that they mentor. So each chapter is based on one of the early career framework standards, and it's broken down into research that has impacted on the standards in their formation. But then there is also some voices from the profession of new teachers. I did a qualitative study with over 100 NQTs and RQTs, looking at their experiences being mentored in the last couple of years and putting some tips, some do's and don'ts for things that you can do. The chapter then ends with some really practical suggestions of things that you can do with your mentor using an instructional coaching model inspired by Jim Knight. And, you know, there's been such positive feedback about instructional coaching in schools that I really do believe that this is the way to go with developing that fantastic talent that we have in early career teachers in this country. So do have a look at mentoring in schools. I kind of hope it's going to become, you know, a must-have guide really for mentors, because as I said, mentoring is so important. You know, it needs to be given more credibility, more time, because mentoring matters. So thank you very much, and I hope it's useful.